Dear viewers, dear listeners, it's a great pleasure to have here Tommi Holappa, which is also known as guitar player of Greenleaf. Hi, Tommi. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, as we said before, it's a bit of some Sweden came south to Berlin.
Some Sweden weather going on over there.
Exactly. No, but besides the weather, would be cool to talk about. I mean, you are gonna release on March 26th your I don't know how many album, but the nth album.
I think it's the 8th album coming out.
Okay,
now,
yeah,
so,
it's difficult to count after 5 or 6. Echoes from a Mass is gonna go. The third album actually you're gonna release on Napalm Records. 3 years ago you released Hear the Rivers. How were these 2.5, 3 years since you have released Hear the Rivers for the band?
Okay, the first part after we released the album was good because then we could do live shows. We toured for the album and did festivals and tours, but then after a while I guess everything just stopped because of this stupid COVID-19. We have been after we couldn't tour anymore, we just started concentrating on writing the rest of the album, so that's what we have been up to.
When did you start more or less working for the Echoes from a Mess?
We always pretty much start right away after Hear the Rivers was released. We already started writing on new riffs.
So
but we had no
production.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's really hard to just stop writing music. For me, at least, I need that to. Yeah, there's nothing better to do than to just sit down and play guitar, and it's fun. So why stop? I don't need a break after album is done. I don't really need. Okay, a couple of few weeks is okay to not touch the guitar, but then my fingers start to itch and I have to play. A few of the songs are at least okay. Hear the Rivers was released 3 years ago, so maybe 2.5 years old. Yeah, when the pandemic hit, I guess like half of the record is newer songs, if you can call it that.
Was actually maybe a perfect time so you could concentrate more on the record. I mean, I don't know if it's a positive thing.
Yeah, if we have to find something positive, it was that we could put some more time into writing the album.
How is normally the way to write songs?
Yeah, normally I sit at home, play guitar, come up with a few riffs, maybe a verse idea or just a riff, and then I bring it to the other guys. Depends on, now I have to explain this. Hans, our bass player, he lives in Germany. He lives in Berlin. So it's hard to get together every weekend or something like this. So usually it's me and Sebastian, our drummer, that meet up at the rehearsal room, jam a bit on the riff that I've come up with, maybe come up with something, and then we just record it on our phones. And after that, we send it to Arvid, our singer, and send it to Hans, and they listen to it, tell us if they like it or not. Should we continue on the riff? And most of the time, they like the idea. So then we just continue working like this, sending back and forth. And Arvid comes up with a vocal line, and he sends that over to us. And and that's the way we usually have worked, even before the pandemic. So,
from that point of view, it didn't really hit you.
No, not really. But okay, this time Hans couldn't come here as many times as we would have wanted him to come here. Because I think for this album, during the pandemic, he came here twice. We have 2 weekends of rehearsals just before the album, for the recording of the album. So it was pretty much just 4 days of rehearsing with Hans. But yeah, it wasn't enough in the end. But it could have been maybe a few more times, then it would have been even better. But it worked out good in the end. So,
what can you tell us about the concept of Echoes from a Mess? What's behind the concept?
Arvid was. When was this? This was like December 2019. He got divorced. So it's a lot about his feelings and his being, yeah, I guess you can call that, he was depressed and he was not doing really good. Yeah, I don't know if he's still doing good, actually. It's been more than a year now, but it hit him really hard, this thing. So so I think like 8 out of the 10 songs are a lot about this. So that's pretty much the concept of the album. If you look lyrically and musically, it's usually we don't really have a concept. We just write songs and keep the stuff that feels good and put the stuff that doesn't feel so good to the side. And hopefully when we start doing the next album, some of the riffs can be reused and turned into a song, but we don't really have for the music, we don't have a concept. Yeah, we just try to write good music. And
yeah,
but
I mean, you do pretty well.
Oh, thank you. It goes from a mass. It comes from it's the first line of the last song on the album called, what's the song called now? What Have We Become? There he sings an echo from a mass. He sings, and we thought that was a really cool line. So we changed it a little bit to fit Peter Bergstrand, who did the cover art. He said that I have an idea already. Yeah, let's change
so
it.
The mass in the
yeah,
cover.
And the cool thing about it is that you can interpret in so many ways. This is just the cover art is just Peter's way of to interpret the meaning of the album title. And there's so many different ways to interpret it, and that's the way we like it. We like people to hopefully start thinking that what could this mean. So I think for a lot of people it will mean different things that it means for example, Arvid, who wrote the lyrics for the song where the title is taken from. So that's what we try to do a little bit. Same thing with the Arvid's lyrics. If you read the lyrics, it could mean totally different thing for you than it does for Arvid.
And is it something that you always tried to do in your music, especially also in the previous releases?
Yeah, I think so. I think, okay, not on all of it, but it depends on, I think, what kind of lyrics he writes for the songs. But I think most of the time, people never know what the song is really about. They have a clue that it could be something like this, but in his mind, it means something else. For example, there is an old song called, on Trails and Passes album, there's a song called The Drum. And I don't think people know that song is about jerking off.
Yeah, I mean,
when he told the meaning of that song, I just
it's a topic worth to talk about. As the listeners will not, when they hear this, that they will not still have listened to the album. Is then, besides the lyrics, of course, of Average, is also the album a bit more gloomy, or did he bring you in this mass, or I don't know if you call it?
Yeah, I think the album is a little bit gloomier in the end. I guess after a couple of songs, it felt like we were going a little bit more in that direction because of some of the lyrics that he gave to us that we read through, and everything just happened naturally. But in the end, there's a few more happier songs, but the lyrics are still a bit gloomy. But because we can't, with Greenleaf, we can't just do a total gloom album. There has to be a little bit of blues and a little bit. Yeah,
I mean, blues.
A little bit smiles in there also. Even though you're feeling like shit, sometimes you still have to smile.
Yeah, I mean, that's at least for having a hopeful approach.
It's gloomy, but in a very trying to be positive. So,
if I'm not wrong, you changed bass player comparison to Hear the Rivers. No, Hans, it came for this album. Did he change something in in the setup or in the band, the way you play, the way you also. And second question, did you record more or less the same way, Echoes from a Mass, in comparison to hear the Rivers and the Previouses?
He joined the band just when he was already in the band when what's it called, Rise Above the Meadow, when it was released. He was in the band. Because the previous bass player, Johan, he recorded the album, but then he didn't have time to go on tour and so on. So we asked Hans to join the band because we knew him from before, because he was in a band called Grand Loom, a German band that we played shows with, and he was a really wonderful guy. So we just asked him, and he could join the band, and we knew that he was a really good bass player, so it would all work out good. If he brought something to the band, yeah, of course he did. He's a maniac on the bass. He's a really good bass player, and he's coming up with ideas, and he's a real a part of the songwriting, of course. He lives in Germany, so it's a little bit hard to rehearse a lot, but yeah, when there's no pandemic, he comes up to Sweden every once in a while, so we can just work on music or rehearse for a tour or something like this. Recording wise, we recorded this album exactly the same way we have always done. Us standing in a room playing and record. Usually, on this album, Arvid wasn't there when we recorded the basic tracks, but usually he's there also singing, and record guitar, bass, drums, everything live. And then we do overdubs, put extra guitars in there, and do the vocals.
What you normally do in the studio is something that is already thought to then be played live, and then just with few of the dubs, or sometimes you go crazy a bit in the studio.
On previous older albums, we have thought about not putting too much in there, because then it's so hard to make it sound really good live.
Yeah.
But on Echoes, I think we put a little bit more in there. We put some more. There's some mellotron, and there's some piano, and there's a couple of songs, a few extra guitars. But let's see. We will. I'm pretty sure we will manage to make it sound good anyway. So. We just have to work a little bit harder in the rehearsal room, and then we will make it sound good.
Good thing there is time to
now we have time. So I'm pretty sure we will not do any shows in the coming months.
I guess as well.
Yeah.
You released the only single you released since now is the Tides. How is the video related to the concept of the album? I mean, there is a black mass, like in the album.
Yeah. The video is also done by Peder Bergstrand, who did the artwork. So it's all his idea. So it's also it's his version of how he. When he heard that song, he heard right away that, you should be in space. Because it's for me at least, it's a pretty massive, big song, and it's a lot of air in there, and and the space theme fits it perfectly, I think.
Yeah, because there is space for to sound, you know.
Yeah, and out of it alone in space with his feelings, so it's perfect.
And then it gets shot. I mean, I don't want to say the end of the video.
Yeah.
If people didn't watch, just watch it. Did you have actually to postpone the release somehow, or more or less was already planned for this?
No, the release date was set maybe in last summer or something. And we were like, the pandemic will probably be over by then. But here we are. No, we haven't postponed the release.
I mean, how difficult and tricky is now to... as Greenleaf, you tour normally a lot, no? You play a lot around. How is the promotion now, the album from home, let's say?
We just have to try to promote it ourselves without going on tour as much as possible. Like talking to you and trying to stay busy on Facebook and Instagram and whatever just try to come up with fun things to keep people coming back and interested in our pages and so on. Yeah, but I really, really hope that we can go on tour soon at the end of the year. Or I think at the moment we are planning maybe to go on tour in October, but yeah, let's see what happens. We have a few festivals booked for the summer, but yeah, we just have to wait and see.
Is a band like Greenleaf sustainable without touring?
How do you mean if we don't tour? That
I mean, of course, it's something you don't know because the first thing, you didn't release the album yet, but I'm sure you know. I mean, normally, you know, many bands tour in order to sell more albums. Do you think is without touring is you go on minus, let's say, or is still feasible?
It's good that we all have day jobs because we're not living out of the music. We're not making much money out of playing music anyway. So, but still, yeah, I really hope that the album will do good, even though if we don't tour there, let's say first half of the year or something. That the singles that we have released the video we released now, and at the end of this month will come one more video, and then in 1 month later we will release 3 videos now. So hopefully this will help a little bit, so people
to spread
can hear but spread the word about the album. So other than that, I don't know.
We'll see.
We just have to wait and see how it turns out, if it's worth releasing albums during a pandemic.
Yeah. I mean, until now, I guess the response of the people was good, no? I guess.
Yeah, it's been good so far. So
considering that we cannot spend money in concerts, so
yeah, then people have more money to buy
a
albums
record instead, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess in Sweden as well, you could have barely gigs. How is in general the Swedish state helping music and maybe in general arts?
For example, for us, we get help with payment of the rent for the rehearsal room. So you can easily just apply to get, you write down how many times you rehearse a week and send it in to the government, and then they give you, it's not much money, but it helps a little bit. Okay. So anyone who has a band or does or singer-songwriter or whatever can get a little bit of help from the government because they're making music.
Also the other actors, let's say, of the scene, so maybe booking agency or something, do you know if they receive some help or maybe the venues as well?
I'm not sure, but I think they can also apply for help.
Okay, so.
And I think so. But okay, now you were talking about the pandemic. Even though without the pandemic, musicians get help for rehearsal rooms and everything.
Oh, okay.
You know?
So, good
so for us, it's still the same. Even before all this happened, we still got a little bit of money to pay for the rehearsal room. And
hope the German government is listening. Maybe they.
I heard that it's really hard to get good rehearsal rooms for cheap in Germany.
Yeah, in Berlin as well, especially in Berlin, the overall space.
Yeah, but we live in a small town, but I guess it's the same in Stockholm.
Talking about Sweden, in Sweden there is a particular, especially from the 90s, let's say, a really good tradition of rock and roll bands playing. Some of them maybe playing older school music, maybe like Blues Pills, Siena Root, but there is a good, let's say, rock and roll tradition. What do you think is? Have you ever thought, or have you been asked maybe before, what is the secret of this?
I've been asked this question many times. Why are there so many good?
What are you drinking? I mean, what's in the water?
Yeah, I usually say it's the mother's milk. It comes. I don't know why. I don't think anyone knows. Maybe it is because we get a little bit of help through the government
so the culture is really helpful.
It's not so. I think so. It's pretty, yeah, it's easy to start a band and get a room to rehearse in. And even when you're a beginner, you can get a rehearsal room where there is guitars and drums and amps and everything that you can just borrow. So I think that helps.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, yeah. Then there is no boundary, let's say, to start something for sure.
Yeah, yeah, and you don't have to buy expensive instruments right away. I mean, maybe you don't think it's fun, and you bought a guitar for 1,000 euros, and then it's like, okay. So you can start with just borrowing gear, and it's no problem.
And then maybe later buying it.
Exactly.
Tommy, tell me, how do you like the word stoner as genre of music?
I used to dislike it, but now I don't really. It's just a name. And stoner rock. In our band, we're not really stoners. You know, we don't smoke and we don't jam. We drink beer. We're more beer rock than stoner rock in the end. But I don't mind the name because it's just a name for there's so many. It's a name for a huge. The genre is so everything from like the doom to rock and roll, pretty much.
Do you think it represents anyhow the scene or all the actors of the scene? Maybe not only the musicians but also the listeners.
Yeah, of course, there is people who like to smoke and listen to all the stoner rock bands, and probably Greenleaf. Yeah, you can hear by the name Greenleaf also. That actually started pretty much as a joke was it in 99 or 2000? I don't remember. It's so long. It's more than 20 years ago now. So
yeah,
we just had that as a joke name because we couldn't come up with anything. And then the time went and we were like, yeah, we can't come up with a name. So let's just stick to Greenleaf. It's just a name.
You just said that you basically, Greenleaf was formed over 20 years ago, basically as sort of a side project, as you are also a musician in Dozer. Have you thought, could you think before that you would, after a side project could last really so long and actually so pretty successful?
When we started the band, I never thought that we would still play after 20 years. No. Yes. Oh, fuck, I'm getting old. No, but it's like you said, it was a side project in the first I don't know 15 years or something. It was just friends that I asked if they want to sing on the album, because usually we had like 3-4 different singers and a few guitar players, and so it was a side project like that. When I had because we went on tour with Dozer, we did the tour. The rest of the guys usually wanted to have at least 1 month off.
But
did not play anything, but I can't stop playing, so I had to. So that's basically why Greenleaf has been rolling the whole time, and then Dozer went on ice, and then can't stop playing, so I just played more with Greenleaf instead. And after a little while, we got even more into it when Arvid and Sebastian joined the band. Then it started to feel really good.
Then so it was more core of the band.
Yeah, that's when we decided that now this is a real band, because I didn't have Dozer at the time, and this is the real thing. This is my real band now, and because Arvid was so into it and Sebastian was so into it, so we just decided that let's just tour as much as we can and release albums until we get tired of it. And so far we haven't got tired of it.
It was like Arvid and Sebastian when they joined. That was that basically the turning point, let's call, when then a more stable. You decided to form a more stable band with fixed components, members, no?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we have changed bass players, but that's it. So we're trying to have the same members now and try to be a real band.
In your mind, is the fourth piece not under discussion, or Greenleaf could be maybe in the next releases, maybe for the 30th year, open to maybe to extend the lineup, or I don't know, to experiment to other concepts too, or what is your idea?
We have sometimes talked about it, that it would be on some songs nice to have one more guitar player to make it sound even bigger. But then we think of the costs for flight tickets and everything. So it's, yeah.
And you have to split everything in 5.
Yeah, we have to split everything in 5 instead of 4. So it's stupid in it. No, but you never know. You never know.
Since you have a more stable band, you didn't have guests in albums, no?
No. On the new one, we have Peder. He did pretty much everything. He did the cover art, and now he did the video. And he also sings on 2 songs.
Oh.
it's just backup vocal harmonies that he's doing. And he used to be a member of Greenleaf in the beginning. He was a member of Greenleaf also. So we're keeping it in the Greenleaf family now.
It's the 5th element.
And the guy who recorded and mastered and mixed the album, he was the first drummer in Greenleaf.
Okay, so
it's the Greenleaf family doing things now. So.
Do you have in mind some release party or something like that, some release show?
No, I'm pretty sure we will have, March 26th. I guess we will be sitting at home, maybe open a beer and
listen to the
say
album.
Cheers. Call to the other guys and say cheers.
That's good. That's good.
Let's see. We just have to take one day at a time and see. Let's see what happens. But as soon as it's possible, we will be on tour and play shows as much as we can.
I'm sure about.
And we will definitely play in Berlin again.
Hopefully in fall. Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully in October. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Tommi, I want to thank you for this interview, and I really wish you all of the luck for the release of Echoes from a Mass, and also for seeing you again on a stage very soon.
Thank you. Hope to see you too soon. Maybe not on the stage, but in the crowd. In the crowd
for sure.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.
Take care.